Hey, friendo, Steve here. It's Monday night. Let's go ahead and dive into all 203 questions that you have up on the WrestleJuice Ask WrestleJuice thread. Go ahead and dive into these straight up. We've got Jimbo Slice, who says, if Sami Zayn continues doing the U.S. Open Challenge, what three NXT talent would you want to see answer the call? I am going to go with Trick Williams. Trick Williams or Obafemi should win this thing. Like, this should be a thing that they continue on, and then one of those guys beats Sami Zayn before Sami Zayn goes on to try and get that world championship. That's what should happen. I'm going to do that. I'm going to say this. I want to see it either be Javon Evans, Saquon Sugars, or Obafemi. I think those are the three names. I think Trick should be in there too, but I feel like those are more like, okay, let's test him out. Obafemi, I feel like, should probably be debuting a little further up the card because, like, man, NXT needs a hit. They need a major dude to come out of their men's division to establish that, hey, we've got dudes here also that are nothing to sneeze at, you know? So I'd say Obafemi needs to debut up here. So that leaves Saquon Sugars needs to get away from Dark State. Grant, I'll be honest with you, I don't really keep up. I don't really get. Or Ethan Page. Ethan Page can debut and lose to Sami Zayn. But Javon Evans or Saquon Sugars, I think those guys would be awesome. Awesome NXT talent for the United States Open Challenge. Wrath of Sokra says, how much wood could Chuck Palumbo chuck if Chuck Palumbo could? It's not even a real question. Thank you, though. Get up on the mic says, I don't have a question, but I think it'd be really funny if you started pronouncing Triple H like you do Triple A. Well, I started pronouncing it Triple A. So it's Triple H. That's just, I think I'm doing that already. Let's see here. Alto says, are wrestling creators ruining wrestling surprises? Dude, I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like it's on the viewers, the consumers of those products, to curate maybe their social media and their content so that they stay away from places that would spoil it. If we're talking about like Sean Ross Sapp, Dave Meltzer, stuff like that, PW Insider, it's kind of their job. Like this, like dirt sheets have been around for decades and decades and decades. And it's kind of like their job to get the inside scoop on what's going to happen and then report on it. There's a market. There's a market for that. And where there's a market, people are going to fill that need. So I don't think it's up to the viewers to sort of try their damnedest to stay. Well, look, I get plenty of hot takes that say things like wrestling's a lot better without social media. Kind of feel like for a lot of people that's the truth, So I don't know. I don't think they're ruining wrestling surprises necessarily. BFYBN says for some reason every time I shower. Is it we wouldn't really want to go there? FTR popped into my head, and I don't know why. All right. Well, there you go. Tony the Pokemon. I don't have an explanation for you. And it seems like you left a really long question. So I'm just going to leave it at that first one. Tony, there was a skit with the Revival and WWE like washing each other. Tony the Pokemon, that's Vince. So anybody who complains about Triple H, including me, has to remember, we got a lot better now than we did back then. Tony says, favorite wrestling couple. Oh, man. Boy, Seth and Becky are really making a play, aren't they? They're making a hell of a play right now. For a while, I liked Trick and Lash. I thought that could have gone places, and they want to make Trick a bad guy. They couldn't do that. Man, I don't know. Boy, AJ Lee was good on Raw tonight. Oh, my goodness gracious. She was so good. Yeah, I gotta say probably Seth and Becky. Honestly, I like what they're doing. You can't say like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe to a degree, Mark Marrow and Sable, maybe. I'm trying to think of other wrestling couples, and Vince was always horrible with them. Rusev and Lana, I kind of like that to a degree. But yeah, dude, Seth and Becky, they got a good thing going right now. They just need to mix it up a little bit with the story, but I think they got something good with the CM Punk AJ stuff. The Farting Monkeys. Rank these 5 movies from best to worst. I got to open this thing up now. Let's see here. Revenge of the Sith. Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Man's... Okay, I don't know if I've seen Dead Man's Chest. I don't know if I've seen that one before. I'm not a pirate guy. Dark Knight. But I do like the booty. Why would I even say that? Spider-Man 2. Are we talking about like the original Spider-Man 2? I think the other dude was Amazing Spider-Man. Okay. Worst to best. Worst would be Revenge of the Sith. Then probably I'd go Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm just going to go my favorite to my least favorite to favorite. Revenge of the Sith is the worst. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. I'm not really into that stuff. The Dark Knight. Then Spider-Man 2. And then, of course, it's Star Trek. Because I love me some Star Trek. Joe says, after hearing about MJF's wedding over the weekend, which 5 wrestlers would you have liked to invite to your wedding? So I got married in 2012. So it would have been CM Punk was still hot. I'll go in kayfabe. I'll say Alberto Del Rio because he's rich. I'd go with John Cena 2012. I think we could do like some fun, shenanigans given that we look like each other. I'll go with, 2012. Who was big in... I'll still go with Punk. He brings a cool factor. And then in 2012, who else was a big deal back in 2012? We got 3. I'll do the Shield. I'll do Seth and Dean from the Shield. I don't know why I chose those names. Tyler Warden says, what's an angle that would cause absolute chaos with the heat it would generate? An angle that would cause chaos with the heat. I mean, WWE brought in Hangman Adam Page or Jack Perry. Atticus says, what Star Trek uniform would you want to wear if you were in Starfleet? All right. The outfit I definitely would not want to wear is the seasons 1 and 2 Next Generation. I think the one I'd be most comfortable in would be the Deep Space Nine / First Contact Star Trek movie uniforms. That'd be most comfortable in, but also those are really heavy. I'd probably try to go with Next Generation's the seasons 3 through 7. It's classic. I loved that uniform, but the big maroon, or big red, those are good ones too. So I don't know, whatever they called those things. I forget the Kirk movie ones. Villa W, but like motion picture, no way. And Trek Next Generation seasons 1 and 2, no way. Also, Strange New Worlds. Those things are so tight. Everybody's wearing a medium. It's weird. Sorry. Well, AJ Villa says, will AJ Lee bring back the knee-high Converse? Yeah, she did tonight. Gabriel Ribeiro says, who's on your Kings all-time starting 5? Oscar Robertson, Chris Webber, Jay Will. I want to put Jay Will and Mike Bibby as like, a 2-point guard situation there. Oh, and then Peja. Yeah, for sure. In terms of like shooting. The Shocking LP says, if you had to book a retirement tour similar to Cena for any current wrestler, who would it be, and what's their big 3 matches / feud? I'd go AJ Styles would be... AJ's got to have like a retirement tour. And his big 3 feuds would be against Finn Balor. Because of the, it'd be Finn Balor, it'd probably be Cody. And it'd be Finn. We'll stick to Raw. It'd be Finn, Seth, and WWE'd find a way to rehire Samoa Joe. Or it'd be Shinsuke Nakamura. Where has he been? Let's see here. Thrawn says, what's your early predictions for which factions or groups will be fighting in War Games? It kind of feels right now like we're getting the Vision versus maybe the Usos, LA Knight, and maybe CM Punk. And the Vision needs one more guy. And I don't know who that would be. They need a 4th man, brother. Diabetic Man says, what's your favorite bad storyline in wrestling history? Favorite bad storyline in wrestling history? Probably when wasn't it like Snitsky used to like he used to drop kick a baby or something? Frozone, yeah, says RoboCop or Terminator. The movie RoboCop. If it's who I think would win in a fight, easily Terminator. Nick says, what do you use to print your custom hats and shirts? So we have like a merch provider thing called Fourth Wall. I think it's invite only. At least when we got it, it was invite only. We got it hooked up through our management company. 313 Guar says, do one, skip one, give one to Larson. Deathmatch versus Nick Gage. Scaffold. Okay. Skipping the scaffold match versus New Jack. A Brawl for All versus Butterbean. I'll give to Larson, and I'll do the death match with Nick Gage. Angel Zeros. Who are the next 5 IC champions in US? Jeez, dude. I don't know who the next 5 are going to be. I'll give you one of each. How about that? I'll say the next Intercontinental Champion we'll do the men's side of things. Who's the champion right now? Dom. Oh, Dom's the champion right now. Next Intercontinental Champion will be Finn Balor. I think they're finally going to split. And then the next U.S. champion is going to, let's see, right now it's Sammy. I'm going to say it's a call-up. I'm going to say it's, well, it's not going to be Javon Evans. Fuck it, Javon Evans. He's going to have that NXT title. I'm going to say, fuck it, I'm going to say Obafemi. I think they will do Obafemi. Mr. Cool Car says, not a question, but I did pick up both copies of your comics. Both were phenomenal. I hope you're able to find that passion again to write more. Well, I have been, and I'm trying to. Okay, so I'll tell you guys right now. If you want to check out my comics, you can go to mfshophere.com, and you can pick up some of my comic books. I don't have any like on hand, but I've been drawing and I've been writing, and I'm gonna get some new stuff. I'm gonna get kind of serious with this stuff and try to devote more time to it. I'm looking around because I'm like, where's my stuff? I don't have my comics around here. In any event, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So yeah, more to come. I'm even starting. Hey, you guys can get on the lowdown here. I'm starting up a new Instagram just for the comic book stuff. I might start another YouTube for that too. I don't know. Just to I don't know, put it out there, you know. The Instagram is Steve Here Comics. Exactly as you think it'd be. I got like 3 followers right now. So you guys I just started doing this thing. I just posted today. It's a new thing. I'm going to be posting up some of my comic book stuff over there. You know, I'm going to give it another shot for funsies. But thank you, Mr. Cool Car. I appreciate it. Dylan Zahara says, what's your favorite match you've seen in person? Oh, dude, what a great question. Oh boy. Favorite match I've seen in person. Golly, I've seen a bunch of really good ones. Like one that sticks out to me. Is Ricochet versus Leo Rush at a PWG show. That was awesome. I'll say that one because for some reason that really stood out to me as like, holy shit, this is great. I mean, man, especially back in like, what was it, 2018? I think we saw that. Leo Rush had like next level speed, and Ricochet also was fucking amazing. A really phenomenal match with those guys. Kicking it with Leo says, is Liv Morgan, in your opinion, the person that should win? I was also there for Kurt Angle versus HBK at WrestleMania 21. I just don't have a great memory of that show. Kicking it with Leo says, is Liv Morgan, in your opinion, the person that should win the 2026 Royal Rumble? I don't know what her status is going to be like or what the story is going to be like, so I don't know. And then, yeah, like Bianca might have a chance of coming back. I don't know. Liv does great work. I just got to see how these... No, my personal pick, I think it should be Asuka because she's doing such good work on Raw right now. She's great. Waterboy Win says, has your enjoyment of one thing ever hindered your enjoyment of another thing by comparison? For example, last month I watched the entirety of Stardom's version of the G1 Climax and I loved it. The AEW and WWE aren't making me feel nearly the same way. Boy, what a great question. Has my enjoyment of, I mean, to a degree, like back in 2019, I was really into AEW and I thought that WWE was crap because it was crap back then. On the other hand, I'm trying to think of another example, like, in life, but I can't off the top of my head. So apologies. But I know that's happened. King Eat King. What's your Mount Rushmore of gimmick wrestlers? I can't do that. I do that over at the Friendo Club Wrestling channel. If you click on that, we've got 2 Mount Rushmore videos, more to come. The King's catalog. If you were to direct a wrestling movie, what wrestler or group would you make it about? Boy. Okay, so a wrestling movie that I really want to see is Bruno Sammartino. But if I did a wrestling movie, I'd want it to be more in line with Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler, which is the only, look, you might disagree with this. It's the only good wrestling movie there is. It's the only good wrestling movie. That isn't a documentary. That is not a documentary. There's a lot of good documentaries. That's the only good wrestling movie there is. Heel Heat, if you could reverse one trade in King's history, which would it be and why? Oh, a trade? Oh, if I could reverse one trade, man, I don't know. I'm kind of curious what it would have looked like if we had, what would the trade have been? Because we traded, what was it, Halliburton for Sabonis? Halliburton and Fox on the same team would have been crazy. That'd have been nuts. So maybe that one. Bingo Chuck says, do you prefer the Wrestler or the Iron Claw? I know I'm going to get heat for this. Wasn't into the Iron Claw. I thought that it was actually very, very well filmed. And I thought the performances by and large were really, really good. But for me, it wasn't as cracked up. I thought it was kind of overrated by a large part of the wrestling community, to be honest with you. The Wrestler is, in my opinion, far better. Aaron Garcia says, what's your favorite feud ender match stipulation? Hell in a Cell, Last Man Standing, No Holds Barred. I think it's Last Man Standing. I think that one just sort of makes the most sense. I'd probably go with that. I like Falls Count Anywhere also. Zondo says, since wrestling is dying, which of these pivots would you want to make? Recap and review all MCU movies, basketball talk, or gaming top 10s and streams. Dude, I don't know, man. So I like that you're very specific about, like, I have to recap and review all the MCU movies and TV shows. Like, I couldn't just choose movies that I wanted to do my own. Like, I can't review The Godfather. Is The Godfather part of the MCU? Basketball talk. Basketball talk would be interesting because I'm like decently well versed in basketball talk, but there's a lot that I can learn. There's still a lot that I can learn. Gaming is too volatile. Nobody wants to see a 50-year-old gamer. Like, I don't think that would do very well. So I'd probably want to pivot to either basketball or movies, but only do basketball if I can get Larson and Hilton on board. Art Guy, who'd you consider the best U.S. champion of all time? Oh, dude, I don't know. Probably John Cena because of his open challenge. Raven Slade, would you consider a hot dog in a bun a sandwich? No, I don't personally, but I know people do. Zephy OTB, if Larson were to retire from YouTube, would you keep making videos? I would, yeah, 1,000% I would. Like, what else would I do? I'm not, dude, Grown Up Kid says he asked on the solo channel. Would I keep it going on a regular basis? Yeah, dude, I'd have to. I'm not good at anything else. This is it. I mean, maybe I could do some of my comics, but like, that comic book grind is horrible. That's why I'm going to do it at my leisure, right? No, video is the only thing I can do. That's the only thing I could do. The Log Cabin says, which of your favorite wrestlers would you like to see be made into a movie? Oh yeah, it'd be Bruno. Rio Oblivion says, out of all of Jeff Hardy's crazy spots, but like, could you imagine, like, what's his face? Paul Thomas Anderson doing like a Bruno Sammartino movie, like with the kind of weight that he gave There Will Be Blood. That'd be nuts. Real Oblivion or the Coen brothers. Holy shit. Out of all of Jeff Hardy's crazy spots and bumps, what's your personal favorite? I don't know, man. I wish that he would just, I wish he would do safe and sound feet on the ground. All right, my kid just asked me to grab the backpack out of the car because she has to do her homework. So I'm going to cut here. I'm going to say this. I think it's the one that where Randy Orton put a screwdriver in his ear. Because that's like not even dangerous. It doesn't really matter. It says, what's one thing you change about AEW and WWE programming? I've had this question a million times before, and it's simple. With WWE, I would change up their presentation so you'd eliminate the unmotivated backstage camera or private conversations. They should be private. Like, it should be a fly-on-the-wall type situation with the cameras. Like, the cameraman's hiding, but everybody's mic'd up. AEW, I'd grunge up their presentation a little bit. I feel like it's like slick, but it's like kind of low-budget slick. And I feel like not what they're doing with the 2300. That's just, it looks small. It wouldn't look small. It would just look kind of grungier. Kind of like Attitude Era shit, to be honest with you. Jamie Salam says, what's one word you would ban from wrestling? I wouldn't ban any words. I'm not about that censorship life. Tom Sauce, if you had to have one entire faction move into your house with you and your family for a year, what faction would be? Judgment Day. Gorilla, what's your dream promo battle? CM Punk versus Macho Man. Ashley Parker, who would be the best last matches for AJ Styles? I already said that one. Ruya Baker says, what former ECW, WWE, WCW pay-per-view name do you want to return after WrestlePalooza? Great Balls of Fire. Surfing Pikachu. What do you think would be the next big matchup like Rock versus Hogan? Something that would stay in people's minds for years. Punk versus Austin is not off the table. Planet Bumble says, have you ever seen any of the classic Godzilla versus movies? Not much of a Godzilla guy. Kyle the Stud, do you think wrestling is stale right now? It can be. Shofra? NC, what music subgenre subcultures do you think could make a good gimmick, like Raven with grunge or Biker Taker with whatever Kid Rock counts as? Whatever that Kid Rock shit is. What music subgenre or subcultures? I'm kind of disappointed that CM Punk isn't really all that punk. Jason, the PPW sound guy, says, hey, Steve, sorry for the weird questions. You're stranded on a deserted island. And he gives me a weird question. After you and a few wrestlers fell off the Jericho cruise, who do you make in charge of planning your escape, the hunter-gatherer, and finally the one that is only there for when the island runs out of food to eat? So Otis would be the last one because he's got plenty to offer. The guy in charge of planning my escape would be Seth Rollins because he's a visionary. Didn't they call him the architect? I think that's helpful. And then the hunter-gatherer. The hunter-gatherer would be, I feel like John Cena would be a hunter-gatherer because he's cool under pressure. Karan Live Forever says, whose part-time booking do you like more? Vince's make the wrestler start and finish the rivalry? Or Triple H's start the rivalry, get injured, or hurt bad, then finish the rivalry? That. D Shadow 25, with people like Swerve and Ospreay taking what looks to be a lot of time off to heal from injuries, who would you push to fill that void? Takeshita and Will Ospreay. Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. I'm just trying to do something, says Wrestling Vortex. Which wrestler would have a great feud against their different gimmicks? Oh, Crow Sting versus Joker Sting versus Surfer Sting. How about this? Surfer Sandman versus Sandman. I like that one. Aaron Bridgeman says, if you could book a dream match between any two wrestlers from any era, who would it be and what's the story you'd get them to tell in the ring? Randy Savage and between any two wrestlers from any era. Okay. So Randy Savage versus Randy Savage versus how about that? Cream of the crop Randy Savage and what is it? Best in the world at what I do. What did Chris Jericho call him? Didn't Chris Jericho just call him best in the world? Whatever he called himself. Jericho from like 98. WCW Jericho versus Cream of the Crop, Macho Man Randy Savage. I think that'd be tons of fun. Cameron Buckner says, HBO just hired you to do a miniseries. Nice. Their one condition is plot and characters have to come up from any moment or time in pro wrestling. What show do you make? Okay, so I know I said Bruno about a movie. Vince McMahon buying the company from his dad, going around the country and buying up TV channels and TV slots and promotions and all that kind of shit. And then like the transition going from like Bob Backlund, Mr. Put You to Sleep with the promo, to Hulk Hogan. All that stuff. That could be interesting. Paige Harris says, choose, you do this. Choose one. Only have J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies be the start of the entire franchise with everything before it erased, or bring back Vince, replacing Triple H with Mr. Kennedy as world champion. Star Trek is precious. I am going to do the second one. The Scots, who's a wrestler everyone else seems to like, but you just not get the appeal. Mr. Kennedy. I think that person knew that. W. Stein, why don't you have a Divas Championship belt on your desk? I like it. I don't like it enough to do that, though. Jeremy Scott says, you're going camping for a month. What 3 people do you bring to cook? What is with you people having me bring wrestlers along to cook and protect and build my camp? Oh, can be anybody, fiction or real? Well, I bring Jesus Christ because he'll make fish and wine. So we'll get faded and eat some, salmon, I guess. Protect would be the T-1000. And build my camp like a Minecraft guy. Who killed Kenzie? What do you think would have to happen for the women's division to feel equal in popularity to the men's? More time on television. David Evans, last time I asked, and main events. With WWE bringing back a former ECW supercard in WrestlePalooza, what would be the modern equivalent of It Ain't Seinfeld? Yeah, I remembered it after the fact. I kind of knew it when you said it, but I didn't know specifically what it was. And then somebody told me in the comments. D4 Dave, what's your favorite comic book run? Garth Ennis on Preacher. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon on Preacher. Adam Messenger says, is there a moment you can point to in the history of time you've been doing YouTube podcasting and go, there, that's when I felt the most joy? Whether it was time spent with your closest friends or a pro wrestling moment that excited you. Doing Smash Zone with the Enforcer and Larson. Yeah, it's that. Definitely that. Or Unsolved Mysteries doing that with the Enforcer. AJ Otani, who's the best spooky wrestler right now? Is there a good spooky wrestler right now? I know some people are going to be like, oh, Rosemary and Tina. I love Rosemary. I think she's great. I don't really watch a lot of that right now. Who's the best spooky wrestler right now? I don't know. Damn, I don't have time to like look it up. But like I've seen a couple of really, really cool looking indie wrestlers with really fancy like spooky outfits and stuff. But then, you're wrestling in a bingo hall or whatever. I don't know how spooky that can be. Larry Jester says, honest opinion of the famous WCW movie Ready to Rumble. I haven't seen it. I should watch it and do a review of it here. Maybe I'll do that. Papa Morris says, reimagine the grunge Big Four as wrestling factions. Who would be NWO, DX, or Bullet Club, or any other faction? Maybe Suzuki-gun. Okay. NWO would be, I feel like they would be Pearl Jam, because I feel like they've had the most amount of turnover in their group. They've had one or two people come and go. DX, relatively short-lived if you'd want to consider their first incarnation. Well, DX also had 2 eras, and I feel like Alice in Chains had 2 eras. Bullet Club, the coolest one they were. I mean, they were the coolest, of the groups. But they had like a lot of different members going on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Is it Four Horsemen Nirvana? And then Bullet Club is Soundgarden because they're super cool. Death Shot Society says, who would you want as AJ Lee's first singles opponent now that she's back? If it's not Becky Lynch, I would say her and... Oh, Bailey would be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of cool. 96 Grunge. If you could make a main event faction out of a horror movie villain, who are you picking? Oh, villains. Oh, wow. Main, mid, tag, and woman. All right. So, I'll be honest, man. My main bad guy would be the guy that made the human centipedes. It'd be that guy from the first one. It was a different guy in the second one, wasn't it? Or was it the same guy? I don't know. But the first one, that'd be my main guy. Mid card? Yeah, is that my main guy? Damn, I don't know. No, main guy is your promo guy. That's Freddy. It's Freddy Krueger's your main guy. Mid card guy, spooky human centipede guy. Tag champs would be the 2 quiet guys, Jason and Michael Myers. Oh boy, that's a killer tag team. And then for my women's division, dude, chick from the ring. Of course, little kid from the ring who comes in and out of the television. Cold Brew CJ, which era of WWE do you think was the best in terms of roster storylines and overall quality for new fans of wrestling? For new fans of wrestling, dude, it's hard to hard to compete with the Attitude Era. It really is. Man, it was like what, an hour and 40 minutes because of commercials? You just get all that and just boom, boom, boom. 5-minute matches. TWK Reviews says, do you ever think about minor details in wrestling like set design or rope colors? Far too often. Asian Sign Guy says, with the return of AJ Lee, what wrestlers would you see or have great feuds and matches with? What did I say already? Bailey, Becky, and Asuka. Asuka would be great. V Master says, for you, who are two wrestlers who feuded against each other who are so closely linked together you can't think of one without the other? Oh, I mean, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Sizzle and Papaya, Sandman and Surfer Sandman. Tommy Dreamer and Raven. How about that one? Sizzle and Papaya says, have you guys considered doing some WWE quizzes on the Friendo Club? Yes. And we'll see. It's hard to get Larson over here. We're in such a, we have such a rhythm with our schedule. It's hard to break that and have him come over and do stuff. Nathan says, you've just retired from Starfleet. How long were you in and what was your rank and job when you retired and how are the bathrooms are great. Get sonic showers and probably sonic bidets. I did a solid 25 in Starfleet. Made captain by year 7, which was crazy. And then my job when I retired, I took over for Boothby at the Academy doing the groundskeeping. Small Osprey, favorite WrestleMania aesthetic. He says this is 33. I was at 33. That was the only good thing about that show for me. Because goddamn, that was a miserable experience. Invader Zim says, did today's in-ring quality lessen your enjoyment of classic matches from the 80s and 90s? No, because some of those are still really good. You can still get invested in more simple matches. Dr. Howie, if you could fill the slot of one band member, which band would you be a part of? Oh, wow. That's a great question. I mean, come on, dude. I'd take George Harrison's place. Diehard Homer says, why does law enforcement not get involved in kayfabe crimes like arson, home invasion, boss man cooking a dog, etc., etc.? And yet they do get involved in other crimes. I don't know. What happens in the WWE stays in the WWE, I guess. Alexander Ball, if an established tag team wrestler won Money in the Bank, is there a way to tell the story of them using that opportunity for a tag title match? Nope, because they would need a lot of time to build up tag team divisions for so anybody would care about it. Sean says, who had the better peak, Futurama or The Simpsons? Probably The Simpsons, but I'm not a big Futurama guy, just meaning I haven't seen a lot of it. It is one of those late night shows you can put on at 1 o'clock in the morning. You just got back from the bar, you put that on, maybe get some fast food. That sounds fun. Nathan Hounds, besides obvious ones like Cody and Roman, what wrestler do you think will make the transition from wrestling to movies? Killer Cross. Wayne Taylor, have you watched any regional promotions from the 80s and 90s? Yeah, no, I used to, on Twitch, I've been meaning to upload it maybe as a membership deal, but I've been meaning to put all those in a place. But on Twitch, I used to do territory wrestling streams, complete with the commercials that they'd broadcast. And it was wildly fun, but I ran out of them on YouTube. Poison Oranges, you're being chased by a group when you run into a dead end. Who are the 4 wrestlers you'd pick to come to your rescue and to even the odds numbers games? I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. I'm going to go with Omos. I'm going to go with Undertaker. And Kane. That's my 4 right there, dude. I'll fuck some people up with those guys. John Murphy, Dumbest Angle, Brett and Jean-Pierre Lafitte feuding over a leather jacket, Edge and Booker T over shampoo dealer, Booker T and Big T feuding over the letter T in WCW. It's that last one. Mr. Perfect, what's your most knowledgeable and least knowledgeable category in bar trivia? If Star Trek is a category, that. Otherwise, movies. Hassan Mai says, do you think WWE should bring back pile drivers for regular moves? Yup. Jay Hunt Jones says, what do you want to see AJ Lee do next after a apparent Becky feud? Already answered that once, Bailey. Manu Hakala says, you think it's coincidence WWE's quality started going down when Triple H stopped calling in to going in Raw? You might be onto something there. Jeev Mech. What's the highest flying move you like the least? The highest flying move I like the least. Oh, easily. Moonsault from the top of the turnbuckle, the top turnbuckle, to the floor. I fucking hate it. It always makes me feel like somebody's knees are going to just blow the fuck out. I hate it. Enzo RJL, what are your thoughts on teasing wrestlers' returns versus trying to keep it a total secret? Try to keep it a total secret every time. Who would have guessed? Said if you had up to an hour to pick the brain of any wrestler, who would it be and why? If I had an hour to pick the brain of any wrestler. Oh boy. You know what? Arn Anderson would be really super interesting. Cuban Bear. Or even The Undertaker. I don't listen to his podcast, but I watch a lot of clips, and boy, he's always got interesting stuff to say. Cuban Bear. Would you rather Bully Ray? Fuck it, Bully Ray. Would you rather have Entrance Pyro or Becky Lynch's Steam? Steam. King Queen Halen. What do you think Billy Gunn's ceiling would have been if he would have had the talking ability of Road Dogg? World Champion. Myth Trainer AC. What is your all-time favorite pay-per-view name? Great Balls of Fire. Yo, it's John. What's up? Which Starfleet officer would you rather serve under? Janeway, Sisko, or Archer? Janeway. I don't know about the religious stuff with Sisko. I'd be like, buddy, why are you okay with them calling you the emissary? Archer was dull as hell, and he did not run a good ship. I've been watching Enterprise lately. I don't think he's a very good captain. James Barnes says, best thing each major company is doing right now. WWE feels big. Big right now. And bring it back. Oh, goddamn, AJ Lee was good on Raw tonight. It feels big right now. Well, the crowds are great. AEW, they're doing the wrestling. They're doing the best wrestling. Kriya. Jokes aside, what do you sincerely love, appreciate most about Larson? I mean, dude, he's been my best friend for like 30 years. Like, most about him? I don't know. I can always rely on him to be a good person. You can sleep good. You can sleep good knowing that, like, your business partner and best friend in life is like a good, honest to God, good person who has your best interest at heart. It's that. James Muir says, I've never liked Cena. However, since his Peacemaker show, I think he's great. Do you rate the show? Being a DC guy, also do you like Animal Man? I read a little bit of Grant Morrison's Animal Man run, and I loved it, and it was fucking creepy as hell. So yeah, I've got a soft spot for Animal Man. Is he in the new Peacemaker? No, is he? That'd be sick. Yeah, I'm a huge DC guy. I've not watched season 2 of Peacemaker. I got to watch Superman first. I'm like sort of saving it for a perfect moment. Stu Lost. Is there a place for Danhausen in WWE? Boy, I don't know. I think there could be, but I don't know. Wrestle Cram. Do you think Jay White and Okada would have made a bigger impact in WWE than signing with AEW? Boy, oh boy. Jay White, I don't know. It's hard to tell. He might have banged himself up too much. Jay White, maybe. Jay White, yes. Because the style in WWE is not as damaging. Okada, I think Okada might have gotten lost in the shuffle. Ryan Largent, who's your current wrestler boy squad who have never, male, female tag team who have just never held the world title? Oh, dude, I don't know. Never held the world title. I'll go with, Finn has. Dom. I'll go with Dom. Stephanie Becker and tag team. Jeez, what tag team hasn't won the tag titles? I'll go with Andrade and Phoenix. Stinky Bojangles. Which 3 of AEW's top babyfaces being injured? Sorry, with 3 of AEW's top babyfaces being injured, what 3 wrestlers are going to step up? I already talked about that. Sean Will Comedy. Do you ever feel like we should be done with kayfabe? Like, doesn't muddy the waters? No, I like kayfabe. I'm cool with them trying to keep it. Wrestling is unique. It can't be like the movies where, they do these fucking press junkets and they're sitting next to each other and they're all buddy-buddy. But on the other hand, I don't mind when like MJF has a fucking wedding and Hangman is there smiling. I don't care about that. But I don't think we're quite at the point of like movies where within active current storylines, you want them talking process. Brendan ain't says, will you ever do another Stone Cold reviews of pay-per-view again? Dude, I don't know, man. It kills my voice, and it's a bit much to do. Braden St. John, what's your favorite ECW pay-per-view that isn't Heatwave 98, Barely Legal, or One Night Stand 0506? I don't have one. It's going to be a one night stand. All those pay-per-views, they sort of just run into each other for me. I don't have one that I'm like, oh, this right here. Andrew Sharp, how do you keep Seth and Punk compelling into their inevitable Mania clash? You separate them for a while. WrestleFest, at this moment, who do you think will retire John Cena, Gunther, or Drew McIntyre? Sergeant Fambro, what match and or pay-per-view would you show someone who's never seen wrestling but wants to start wrestling? That wants to start watching. I mean, honestly, if they want to start watching, show them Omega Okada 1. Anthony, you and Larson seem pretty measured types. Is there any scenario comeback that you see you guys marking out like crazy like OS for AJ Lee's return? Not anymore. I think that they're all back. There's no other return. Like, who else could it be? Why did my TV stop running the thing? John DP, I've recently watched the OSW episode where they cover WrestleMania 21, so it got me thinking if Cena never became the guy and Batista stayed on SmackDown, where Kurt Angle had been able to fit the role as top guy. Yeah, of course, Kurt Angle was a top guy. CDTN player, what's the most underrated match of the year so far? Barely anyone's talked about. Don't have one. Shay Mon says, if you could book a promotion with only wrestling content creators, who would be your top guy and why would it be Larson? I mean, is me an answer? Could it be me? Could it be Steve? Compact Z13, my annual AAW fantasy draft is approaching. Who'd be your sleeper pick? Juice Robinson. Mr. BRS. No, Big Bill. One day, a wrestling god gives you a chance to become a wrestler whose body, moveset, finishing move, and theme song entrance do you choose. Doesn't have to be just one wrestler. All right. So for theme song, it'd be Dan Severn, because probably not a lot of people remember that one, so it's not like it's associated really heavily with another wrestler. But it's an actual theme song. Finishing move would be The End of Days, whose body would be Brock Lesnar, and whose moveset would be Penta. Jacob Wall, if they were to bring back a traditional Survivor Series match this year, who would be on the teams? I just said it earlier. The Usos, LA Knight, CM Punk, and who's the other one? Those two, that guy, AJ Styles? Against Seth, Bronson, Finn, and Dom. How about that? WrestleFest says, do you think Dom and Liv would benefit from a face turn with Rusev and Lana as the main heels? Would benefit from a face turn with Rusev and Lana? Is Lana coming back? I think that'd be a step back for Rusev. Chico Sweet, what do you think AEW can overturn this upcoming period of no Swerve, no Ospreay, no Kenny? I already talked about that. Keg of Meat, what obscure wrestler from his past should Cena shout out on his match with Brock by doing their move? Rikishi Stinkface is a great answer on that one. You know what? I always liked Alberto Del Rio's finish. He should do that. Or, I know Logan Paul did it in their match, but like a Dolph Ziggler move. How about a skull-crushing finale? How about that? Finn Gardner, favorite submission move? Figure 4, but a pinning figure 4. Sophie, what wrestling YouTuber do you wish you could do some sort of collab with? I mean, be like my friends. Matt from Assemble, Alex, Queen of the Ring. Them. Go Bird says, if Triple H had a time machine and could undo the Cena heel turn, would he? Oh, does he regret it? He would change how it was done. Christian 614 with WWE working with TNA. Do you truly believe we could see a WWE AEW pay-per-view working in the future? No. Nate Fuentes, WWE's cool down because of creative or WWE TK with its pricing its audience out of the market. Has nothing to do with the pricing. Triple H doesn't control the pricing. That's not him. That's Nick Khan and a bunch of other people. Triple H, he does creative. So if there's a creative cool down, it's on Triple H. But goddamn, you see those crowds. Hard to disagree with how much they love those shows. Big guy, who's the Mount Rushmore of wrestling weapons? I do the Mount Rushmore show over the other show. Mr. Michael Law, how long do you think it would have taken had TK never called CM Punk to wrestle for AEW to come back to WWE? Vince being gone. Broken Novocaine. How do you and Larson decide what content goes on each channel? Podcast is always on Steve and Larson. That's what it is. Why does some content end up on Friendo Club Wrestling? Because it's not long enough for a podcast. Sometimes, like in the case of Hot Takes, it starts out on Friendo Club and then we put it over the podcast because you can do that for podcast length and it's pretty easy to do. But everything else, predictions, we can't really get a whole podcast out of predictions. Friendo Club is for stuff that's under 30 minutes. It's like around between 8 and 20 minutes is for Friendo Club. The phenomenal Pound Slayer says, would WWE be better if HBK booked SmackDown and Triple H focused on Raw? I think there's a possibility I think it's possible, yeah. Carlos Diaz does a legacy, but there's too much crossover for it to be left up to two guys. Triple H has got to be at the top. So I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I don't know how it works. So like, I'm not there really. I know I watched Unreal like everybody else. I have an idea. Carlos, does the legacy of Paul Heyman and ECW change in any way, knowing how much money he owed to talent? The legacy of Paul Heyman does, yeah. I mean, but we've known that for like a long time. Ascent says, have you watched WWE LFG? I watched the first couple episodes, and it was fine. It didn't compel me enough to keep watching. Clever username, what wrestler do you think can benefit from wearing the mask, like from the movie? If you can't answer this, then okay, I'll do this one. What wrestler do you think could benefit from wearing the mask? How about Apollo Crews? Because the mask would be like, it'd give you all sorts of charisma. B. York, who's your favorite odd couple, like Santino and Maria? Low Key and who is it? It was like Michelle McCool and what was her name? I forget. You guys know who I'm talking about. It's when they put Koval with them with Lay Cool. Wasn't it Lay Cool? Pepsi Dude, who do you want to see, AJ? I've talked about that one. Look, man, some of y'all, you need to look at some of the other questions and make sure somebody's already asking it. Because I'm just going to say I already answered that one. Bonzo, with ratings down for both AEW and WWE, what do you feel will bring fans back, or is it just a case of lackluster stories, main stars being injured? Dude, I don't know, man. There's so much competition, and unless you're doing something, honestly, it's just compelling storylines. That's what it is. It's just compelling shit happening. And right now, there's nothing really compelling that's happening. Biggest Bobo, why hasn't Jim Johnson been inducted yet? I don't know. I don't know what his relationship is with the company, but evidently it's not as such that he'll be inducted. Ray Capuno, Chris Nowinski, Rodney Mack were trying to get Devon a split from Bubba in 2003. Do you think that story could have worked? I'll be honest with you, I don't really remember that much. I kind of vaguely remember it, but I don't remember it all that much, so I don't know if it could have worked or not. I'd have to rewatch that stuff. Terry Stockton, if Triple H were to get help with booking better stories, who would you put in that spot to either assist more or take over creative altogether? I don't know. I mean, I don't know, like, who, I've heard good things about Rob Fee, like working with Bray Wyatt, but he's already there in the writer's room. I don't know enough about what people's strengths are to be able to make a call like that. I just don't. J-Rack, do you think WWE counter-booking AEW has chances to backfire on them? I feel like it's already backfired on NXT. Because, like, nobody in the larger community talks about their shit. And yet their ratings are pretty decent. So figure that one out. Just Anti-Joe, is AEW's booming better setup? What? Is AEW's booming better setup to survive another potential backstage explosion? Booming? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Verse. Did WWE move John Cena's last match to Washington, D.C. so Donald Trump could attend? I don't have that information. I don't know. Meowing. Do you and Larson have an idea of who will be the next Hilton-type content? Do you mean like... So we did the Hilton interview, so the next bonus content, we have not talked about it. Zorro, who's taking the TNT title off Fletcher? I don't know that they know. I don't know that Tony Khan has an idea for that yet. I mean, it could be somebody as elevated as... it might be Takeshita if they turn Takeshita face. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. The Watson, what do you think of Watchmen? It's a great comic. I don't know about best of all time, but it's amazing. The Champ, does covering wrestling as a job change the experience of consuming it in any way than if you were just a diehard watching? Yes. If I was just a wrestling fan watching, I probably wouldn't watch it all. Jabroni, since you've expressed your love of the power bomb, power rank the best of the different power bomb variants. All right. Last Ride is number 1. Blue Thunder Bomb is not. I like the Blue Thunder Bomb. It's a fun looking move. Doesn't seem very impactful. I love the pop up. But my number 1 is just a traditional straight up power bomb. I don't like the sit out one either. Gut wrench is a good gut wrench is fun. I don't like the crucifix power bomb either. Ryan D. Moore, does keeping engagement basically mean you're a slave to these applications? Like you always have to be on them, hence the multiple channels that could easily be all one. So multiple channels cannot easily be all one because then YouTube starts fucking with you. So like, for example, and it's not just a YouTube thing. There are people out there who just want to see this idiot, right? You just watch WrestleJuice. Maybe you don't watch the podcast. Now, I don't know how many people that is. I'm assuming like a quarter of the people who watch WrestleJuice just watch WrestleJuice. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But this is specific content tailored to a specific audience. Friendo Club is a specific content tailored to a specific audience. The podcast is specific content tailored to a specific audience. You get what I'm saying? The way YouTube set things up, each type of content needs to be considered its own channel. So, yes, could we put shorter predictions videos at Going in Raw, the podcast channel? That's the one program I think, or the one show we have like predictions that I think could go on the podcast channel and like do the exact same numbers. Star ratings on Friendo Club, it's just a different way of reviewing the show in shorter form content. People who go to the podcast channel have indicated they don't want shorter content necessarily to be mixed in with their podcasts. So, slave to these applications, that's a really heavy way of putting it. Keeping engagement is basically just engaging with your audience, like, responding to comments, posts, stuff like that. That's what the term engagement is. Do I always have to be on the channels? I mean, no, like I take time away. I take time off. I'm able to draw and stuff. Like, I don't know exactly how many hours I work. Probably more than a regular job, but I don't consider this a regular job. So maybe I answered your question. I don't know. But yeah, like YouTube, the way YouTube is set up, it benefits us most financially to have 3 separate channels. Plus, I get to keep all the revenue from this one. Mean Arrow, which of the NXT call-ups has disappointed the most, either through bad booking or just not having the same impact as they did in NXT? Bobby Roode. Juan O. Tegui says, how long do you think AJ Lee's going to stay with WWE? I don't know. A couple of years, maybe. Billy talks about 908. With the return of AJ Lee and CM Punk, the recent team up of Rollins and Lynch, and obviously Dom and Liv, and WWE 2K, including mixed gender matches, do you think we'll see a mixed tag team title in the near future? I would doubt it, but I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think that'd be really cool. But I kind of doubt it. I don't know. They haven't really said anything about it. Edward Thorpe Brown says, if 2016 Roman Reigns replaced John Cena in the one-night stand match against RVD, who wins? RVD, of course, my guy. X Blake, thoughts on AEW changing All Out's time in the afternoon? Did I talk about this one? I did a video saying they shouldn't, but they totally should, and they did, and I'm glad they did. For me personally, I would much rather watch from noon to 4, maybe fit the review in that window, and then watch WrestlePalooza and then do the review after that. So I'm glad they did. I think it's better for their business. So yeah, my thing was don't change dates. But like slide it back to noon, go ahead. See if WWE follows you. Hayden Furness says, when the Bloodline story was starting, I was really annoyed because they kept shoving her. Okay. Do you think it's possible to get a good story with more people on the roster? Yeah, they need to do more factions. They need more factions. Do you think they need to shove a different person down our throats? Wait, what? Okay, let's try this one again. Let me slow down. When the Bloodline storyline was starting, I was really annoyed because they kept shoving Roman down our throats. Okay. And it seemed like no one else was getting TV time, but it became one of the best storylines. But a lot of people were getting storyline time, TV time. Like the rest of the bloodline and then who they were feuding with. Because it was a faction. Do you think it's possible to get a good story with more people on the roster? Do you think they need to shove a different person down our throats to get another great story? I mean, is shoving up, like when you watch Superman the movie, is Superman being shoved down your throat? He's the main character. I think it's okay to have a main character in a fictional storyline. I don't think that's shoving somebody down your throats if it's interesting. If it sucks, then it just sucks. So I think my answer is in there somewhere. Tilo Brown, favorite chocolate bar? Milky Way. I like when it's just the chocolate and the caramel and the nougat. My second one is Snickers. I like Snickers, but like if you just want to get rid of the peanuts, you got the fucking Milky Way. That's my favorite one. Wrestling Therapy says, if you could redo one decision WWE made this year, what would it be? John Cena's face turn. Parsath, have you seen Joe Coffey's ICW promo where he calls out NXT talents for not loving pro wrestling? I have not seen it. Zevin Azetta says, if you were TKO, would you sacrifice politics over profit? Hold on. Would I sacrifice politics over profit? What do you mean by that? Look, I said this in a video before. If I was TKO, I'd probably tell Triple H to chill out on the Trump stuff. Because I simply don't think it's good for business. I think, and this goes for any era. If for some reason, if Nick Khan was like best friends with Joe Biden had like a 40% approval rating, much like our current president does. I think probably just the climate we live in. And I just don't think it's a good idea to, because politics is so heated, to like alienate that large of your fan base. Because if you cozy up to Biden while he was president, you're going to piss off the MAGA people. If you cozy up to Trump now, you can piss off the other people. So like, it's just not good politics. Look, if there was a dude who had the approval ratings of a Reagan in 84, then cozy up to that guy. But that doesn't exist anymore. Those kind of politicians, they don't come around anymore. Nobody had that kind of approval. I think Obama had a pretty decent approval coming out of office. Bush Jr. had a terrible approval coming out of office. Clinton had like a 70% approval rating coming out of office, which is crazy considering all the shit he went through. So if you got somebody with like an 80% approval rating in the polls, cozy up to them. Not the dude with 40%. Because you're going to piss a lot of people off. The guy sending troops into towns and stuff. That's nuts. That's just not good business, you would think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and let me know in the comments. Well, he won the election. Go Bell says, do you ever plan to watch, with 49% of the vote, do you ever plan to watch any Stardom? No, I don't. Look, I think I would like it. I just don't have a lot of time to watch wrestling that I'm not going to do anything with. Unless I'm going to like an indie show. The Metal Daniel, what would you rather have for the rest of your life? Hot Cheeto fingers or peanut butter gums? I love peanut butter, but if I had peanut butter gums, I couldn't talk, and that's sort of my job. Randay Day says, I know this isn't a what if, but what if Vince and Brett worked out a new deal before the screw job? That's a big what if. Maybe too big of a what if. Because if we didn't get bad guy Vince as a character, I don't know if he would have unlocked that if it wasn't for the screw job. Talazubayari says, rank these title reigns. Punk's 434, Reigns 1316, and MJF's world title reign. Reigns, Punk, MJF. W Freak, given that they're airing the same day, you think WWE loads up Palooza with at least 7 matches? It's possible. SRS 4199, Ultimate Star Trek heel wrestling faction. It's led by Khan. You got a tag team of Pac-Leds. And who's a good, the woman would be the founder's lady, the Dominion lady. And then the mid-card guy would be maybe Q. Q is a mid-card guy? That's crazy. Jackson Barbagallo. Can you maintain objectivity when discussing wrestlers or creative if you disagree with their political beliefs? Fuck yeah, I can. If I couldn't do my job right. Oh my God, I know the vast majority of those wrestlers are not politically aligned with Steve here. And that's fine. I don't give a shit. So yeah, I can. I don't even give a shit. Like I kind of thought it was funny when Triple H was doing the Trump shit, like hanging out with him and stuff, because it's like I don't know. Like I said earlier, I just kind of felt like, man, you're supposed to be business savvy, and like it's the same thing. I'm not even saying because it's Trump. I'm saying like the same thing would apply to Biden. Let's say for some weird reason Triple H is a big Biden guy. Biden, after his first like 3 months in office, did not have good approval ratings. So why would you do that? Like, why would you inject that into your wrestling? It's just not a good move. But knowing that he's a big Trump guy, I don't give a shit. I review his creative based on his creative. I literally forget about that stuff because if you can entertain me, then I'm fucking cool with you. So yeah, I can. I assume everybody, like, dude, when Roman's in there, I forget about the Vanity Fair article. I don't care about it. So yeah, I can. It literally does not bother me in any way, shape, or form. Co-meat. How does Steve like his juice? Orange or Robinson? I do like orange juice. The Interloper. Do you think Shinsuke could have been a top star? Yep. Gary T. Goat, worst gimmick belt idea. Gift of Gods, hardcore. Oh, it's a 24/7. Portuguese badass. Hey, Steve, here. I haven't watched AEW in 3 years. I don't know context. Why are people negatively comparing Seth's group to the Death Riders? Largely because there's a lot of copy-paste week to week. That's kind of why. John O. Davies, what are your thoughts on season 3 of Strange New Worlds? It's weird. I like it for the most part. There's some weird shit going on there, though. But I'm into it. OJ the Black. It took me a while to get into the holodeck episode. Is the women's IC title bigger than the 2 women's titles, world titles currently? Yes. G-Rob, do you like spuds? Like potatoes? Witness the enigma. Which apex predator is the least threatening? Like the dog? Is the least threatening, not Randy Orton. Which apex predator is the least threatening? Probably like the whatever the like the insect version of the apex predator is, because you could just step on it. Arbalist, would you rather be paid by WWE or AEW to review and talk about their shows, or be a recurring guest character on Start? What the fuck? I don't really want to be paid by WWE or AEW to review their shows, because then I'd have to lie and act like, oh, this is great. Yeah, I'd rather be a recurring guest star in Star Trek. Are you kidding? What kind of question is that, buddy? Rebecca Perry Dewson says, what do you think would be Jeff or Matt's retirement match? Each other. The Ben Wardy, is there a match you like but everyone else hates? Not that I... Oh, yeah, Survivor Series 2019, the Survivor Series match. Josh Tiley, what's better, Wrestle Juice or Juicy Wrestling? Is Juicy Wrestling a thing? CM Beef, do you think WWE will get uncool? It's like I have a hair right here. Will get uncool again and struggle to fill arenas in the future? Probably. Everything's cyclical. Leon Cooper, Steve would rather have AJ Lee win the WWE Intercontinental Championship, or would you rather see her win the WWE Tag Titles with her friend Caitlyn? I don't know if Caitlyn wants to wrestle anymore. Phil R., your all-time favorite meal? Super Bowl ribs at my dad's house. Joe 2K20, do you think wrestling fandom is worse or more toxic than other fandoms? No, in fact, I think it's not nearly as toxic as other fandoms. NFL, Star Wars. Gorilla Mon says, do you think AJ will be the one to beat Becky for the Intercontinental Championship? No, I don't. I don't, but it's possible. One Punch Lions Dead. If you can make a stable with a manager of all ex-Kings players, what would that look like? A stable with a manager of all ex-Kings player. Okay. You'd have Jay Will be the manager? Really? Jay Will would be the cruiserweight. Bobby Jackson and Bibby as a tag team, huh? I'd go with Bibby and Doug Christie as a tag team. Yeah, The Rock. Yeah, Mitch Richmond. He could be the top guy. And then how about Brad Miller for the muscle? No, Corliss Williamson is the muscle. How about that? Corbin Kepner, how do you feel about this thread getting more than 10 comments per hour? Not great. Sarcastic Fan Stick says, hope you're doing well. What's your Mount Rushmore tag teams? I do that over the Friendo Club Wrestling channel. Grown Up Kid, Fat Burger or In-N-Out? Fat Burger. JB, will Dr. Umar Johnson open his school? I don't know, man. Lars Preston, what's your favorite personal title that everyone hates? Oh, the Divas title. Marvel, why do AEW and WWE hate cruiserweight titles? I don't know. It's because some of their dudes that are popular are cruiserweight size. Maybe that's why. Bo Mingle BOH, what's your opinion on the gay community? That's an AJ Styles reference. AJ Jackson, worst matches from your favorite wrestlers. I love the gay community. I think they're wonderful. Worst matches from your favorite wrestlers. Well, one of my favorite wrestlers is Triple H. One of his worst matches is the Ultimate Warrior versus Triple H. D. Miller Voices, who are the AEW 4 pillars now in 2025. Kevin Knight's one of them. Sky Blue is probably one of them. And then two other young people. Oh, maybe Ace Austin could be one of the pillars. He's cool. And then, I don't know. I feel like the pillars are probably in Ring of Honor. I don't watch that. Bassy boy. Oh, and Billy Starks. She's awesome. If Cena and AJ Styles never have one. Oh, Nick Wayne. If AJ and Cena never have one more match before Cena retires, do we blame and shit on Logan Paul for taking that chance away from us fans? It's not Logan Paul's fault. And don't make me defend him here on my channel. But it's not his fault. It's creatives. Rascal Holden, is there any movie more extreme and disturbing than a Serbian film? Jesus Christ. I've never seen that, and I never will because I read up on it. And there was a whole list of like really disturbing films. God, there was one out of like Australia, I think it was. That like they got stopped in customs because like the customs people thought they were actually carrying snuff films. I've heard really gnarly, Serbian film. I would never watch that. Garfield fan, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Snowman, who's your next never gonna happen WWE return now that AJ is back? I'm gonna push on that one because this coming weekend, Larson and I've got a top 10 never gonna return to WWE list on over at Going In Raw. June says, do you believe in aliens, or to be more specific, intelligent life on a planet that's not Earth? I do. I feel like the universe is too big for us to be an anomaly. I do also think it's incredibly likely that the Fermi paradox solution is that intelligent species get to a certain point where we destroy ourselves instead of find the ability, technologically speaking, to traverse how massive space is. I think it's way more likely that aliens have not visited Earth and that before intelligent species can get to that point, where they can get from here to like the nearest, intelligent culture elsewhere, they die. They're all dead. I don't know that humanity is going to I don't know that if we lived another 1,000 years, we would be able to traverse the vast amount of space required to get to other planets with intelligent life. On top of that, the universe is probably part of a vast multiverse, and traversing that, I think the window of opportunity is too small. So I would be surprised if aliens actually had visited Earth. Now that I say it, in 2027, it'll probably be revealed that we'll make first contact or some shit like that. But I'd be kind of surprised. I feel like probably we're going to get to that, what do they call it? Like the Dark Force thing where like we just end up like destroying ourselves. Because like we're not on a good track right now. We're really not. Humanity has really decided that we do not give two shits about the state of this planet. Although the private industry is advancing green technology, but it's like the people in power seem to just not give a shit about that. They literally want us to just be doing coal. Fucking A, people. Really? Bridgerman, are you a fan of the 49ers or any other NFL team? I'm not a football guy. There's no Sacramento team. And I'm not going to be like, oh, I like the San Francisco 49ers. I don't really care about football. I enjoy having it on. I enjoy watching. I'll just sit there and watch it sometimes because I like good football. I enjoy the game. But I can't really get invested in it because I don't have a home team. I just like to watch good football. But yeah, I don't really, it's not my, basketball's my thing. And basketball starts up like pretty soon after. Like basketball's coming back in like 2 months or so. Toasty, why do you have that awful Daniel Bryan title on display? It's hideous. This is fucking S tier, baby. This is fucking awesome. I love the Planets Championship. It is great. Infinity X3 says, I head up production for an indie wrestling company in Northern Ohio. Would you be willing to give us a watch? Mega Wrestling. Yeah, man. Sure, I'll check it out. That's it. That's all. That's all there is. All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Go check out MF Shop here. And then what did I say that Instagram was? Steve Here Comics. That's what it is. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.